I hate Legend of Korra. Listen, I know it's old news to hate Legend of Korra, but not enough of you people agree with me. So I'm gonna explain to you why you're wrong, why Korra is the worst character ever written, and why I didn't like the show as much as I would like to. There are a lot of good things about the show, but it's mostly hateable. So let's go through season 1, season 2, and season 3, and I guess whatever other season. Are there more seasons? I don't remember. But we're gonna watch the whole show, and I'm gonna break it down one season per video. You ready? Kicking it off with how she's presented, Korra is an egomaniac. She doesn't even have the right to have an ego. She's not smart, and the only thing that she has going for her is her natural talent and other people who force her to be disciplined. This is because she was given way too much glory as a child.
I'm the Avatar! You gotta deal with it!
She's strong.
She lacks restraint.
Woohoo! Hey, why all the doom and gloom, people? We should be celebrating. 3 elements down, 1 to go.
You're getting ahead of yourself as usual, Korra. We haven't decided if you passed your firebending test yet.
Ever since you were a little girl, you've excelled at the physical side of bending, but completely ignored the spiritual side. The Avatar must master both.
Her face is saying, I'm not listening right now because I know I'm right.
Naga,
Whoa, can she say that?
you should have seen it.
Oh, that's her dog's name. Thought she was saying a bad word. To emphasize how selfish she is, it is absolutely fatal that Korra gets airbending training. She must have it because she is who she is, and she throws a fit whenever she doesn't get it.
I know this is difficult to accept, but it's not the right time for you to come to the city.
Whatever.
I will say that her going to the city to learn airbending is a good idea. It's a smart idea, but she can't articulate it well. She just gets mad and leaves. And then she has the gall to actually go to the city, not only showing that she doesn't respect authority, but also showing that she's got some testicular fortitude, which I will say is a good thing for a character to have. But when you're not listening to the people who have wisdom over you, it doesn't show very much intelligence. I will say the writers do a good I will say the writers do a good job of making her character traits obvious. Of course, I just talked about the gall that she has, and there are certain things that can help, but Korra is not reasonable with her confidence. Second of all, Korra doesn't learn from the mistakes that her overconfidence has caused. If it wasn't for Deus Ex Machinas in this show, she would have burnt bridges, killed people, and ruined lives throughout the entire city.
Are you tired of living under the tyranny of benders? For too long, the bending elite of this city have forced non-benders to live as lower-class citizens.
What are you talking about? Bending is the coolest thing in the world.
Oh yeah? Let me guess. You're a bender.
Yeah, I am.
This is what's wrong with the city. Benders like this girl only use their power to oppress us.
Guys, this specific speech is very important to the rest of the show. It's basically saying benders oppress non-benders. And Korra, being a bender, is obviously pissed off by this, but she has such a one-sided moral view. It's kind of, I'm always right, you're always wrong, that the show even perpetuates itself in the greater midst of things. It's not just Korra saying that and being cocky. The show proves it through every time Korra is in what a morally gray area would be, she's always on the right side, and it always works out in Korra's favor. It makes the show really annoying to watch sometimes, because there are certain things that are morally gray, which are positioned as black and white. To give an example of some things that I love from the show, I'll say this. Republic City is actually awesome. I love it. The Industrial Revolution kind of vibe that it has is amazing, and the historical progression seems accurate, especially with like how benders would work in a more industrial society. The objects, the buildings, the type of police and other things that they have, because just benders exist, mixed with what reality would be in the Industrial Revolution, makes for some really interesting and really genius creations. The music is also really beautiful. Take this transitional moment of time. The music really speaks to this specific part of the story, and it has an emotional weight of somber. Most of the music throughout the show perfectly accompanies the emotional weight and meaning of the situation. So does the show set up Amon as the bad guy from the end of episode 1? Yeah, sure it does. But Korra doesn't think he's the bad guy because she has a spiritual awakening or because she has some avatar-like instinct. It's just written. You can tell that it's written for a plot so that Korra can antagonize the Equalists. And maybe she's like, oh, that's the guy who thinks that non-benders are oppressed by benders, and that tips her off. But it seems very, like, again, one-sided politically, and it shows off how one-sided Korra is. As we move throughout the beginning of the season, we interestingly see what the Equalists are talking about. And Korra, our moral standard, is doing exactly what the Equalists are saying benders do. She's oppressing non-benders and their own right to defend themselves.
Tonight, we will execute a raid on an underground chi blocker training camp located in the Dragon Flats Burrow, the cellar underneath this bookstore, where Equalists train chi blocking in secret.
Is Korra doing this because the show is setting up her being a flawed character? But I'd be surprised if that's the case, considering Korra is always the right one morally. To highlight something else I love, pro bending is awesome. It reminds me so much of real MMA, and how when MMA started, you see all these forms of very particular and traditional martial arts kind of breaking down into something that's really just practical, something that is gonna get a fight over with. You don't have the traditional kind of, very, very hyper-specific hits anymore. And that's not to discount what's been made in the past, because that is good. We can see Uncle Iroh using techniques from all different walks of elements to make his own bending better. And back to the hate, Korra joining a pro bending team goes completely against what her own teacher told her to do. It shows that she's totally self-centered and self-righteous. Bolin should have listened to Mako when he talked about not dating a teammate.
I don't know if she's really girlfriend material. She's more like a pal. Bro, you're nuts.
And again, we see another trait of Korra that's so hateable. Anytime something goes wrong, it's never her fault. But every time something goes right, it is her fault. And this is affirmed by how the show presents Korra.
You were supposed to defend while I attacked.
I had an opening, so I took it.
What an unbelievable effort here by Korra. She's dodging every element the Wasp can throw at her. The Avatar finally gains some ground, but with only 10 seconds remaining, it might be too little too late. It's the big kibosh!
Alright, so we see at the beginning of this episode that metal benders have chi blockers. But keep that in mind because it's very important.
There's no better force to deal with the chi blockers. Our armor is impervious to their attacks.
We also see that Toph's daughter, whatever her name is, because it's not coming to my mind right now, has air support covering the entire stadium. So Chief Beifong had all of this air support and somehow nobody decided to break in. Wasn't this event broadcast live? Like, the people in the air or anyone outside should have radios on listening. And then the instant something bad happens, they know and they go in. I thought that was the point of having air support. Did the show just forget that it happened? All the fight scenes are as boring as they could possibly be. How does Korra keep getting KO'd? She's just a trash Avatar. Here we can see the power of friendship magic at work. I guess having a soft magic system, or a softer magic system, can be beneficial in that kind of way.
Our father set us on this path. Fate caused us to collide. I should have left with you when we were boys.
Leave with me now. We have a second chance. We can start over together. Please, you're all I have left in the world. The two of us together again. There's nothing we can't do.
Yes, Noatak.
Noatak. I had almost forgotten the sound of my own name.
The Todlock suicide scene was actually really beautiful and very emotional. I really wish they let that breathe more. It kind of went away way too fast. Which the show actually does have a problem with. Now that I'm thinking about it, they tend to cut between emotional parts very, very quickly. While you're watching the story, it'll be something that build up really intensity, and then it'll just cut the intensity. It doesn't feel like a cliffhanger, it just feels like I'm forgetting about the thing that I was just watching. I'll show some examples if I can find them, such as baby back baby boy. The baby back baby, little baby, tiny little baby boy. Little Gucci goo kind of baby boy. When we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change. That is an outstanding line, but oh my god, it's such a Deus Ex Machina. Korra doesn't have character development. She learned airbending, which I wouldn't say she did because she's done such a bad job the entire season and then magically was given airbending. But she's still the arrogant, never wrong, oppressive egomaniac that she was from the start of the season. Also, an aside, if you're a writer, if you're making any kind of content yourself, stop calling brothers and sisters, stop making them say brother, sister, mother, father. Nobody talks like that. And when the rest of the show's dialogue isn't like Old English or whatever, and you throw that in there, it's just very off-putting. It doesn't fit. So let's break down Korra from the start of the season to now. Start of the show, pros. She's the Avatar. She's confident. She's talented. She's been trained up her whole life and has a great amount of skill. She has teammates with whom she works well. She has a desire to keep growing. She at least has a moral book already. She's not in the moment trying to figure out what to do right and wrong. Start of the show, Khan. She's confident, aka arrogant. She's overconfident. Her extreme talent and attention that she's been given have built up an amazing ego in a bad way. She often is her own highest authority, which is why she can work with a team, but she can't listen to others. Her moral guidelines create a stubborn and close-minded philosophy. She has no spiritual training in the show. So now at the end of season 1, she basically has all the same traits, except now she can airbend. Alright, so that's season 1. You know, it's entertaining to watch, but I honestly never got into it like anyone did with Avatar. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Stay tuned for season 2 and season 3 and season 4 and season however many seasons there are. Stay tuned. It's gonna be great. I'm such a genius at breaking down these shows, and you know it. Alright.